It's the time-traveling cyborg versus the mechanically enhanced cop. One will be back and one will go. Hasta La Vista Baby. Who's it gonna be? You'll have to watch to find out. Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome to another Cinema Showdown. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and without further ado, let's hop right into things. Both of these futuristic machines have more than a few tricks up their sleeves. But who gets the bigger advantage? The Terminator is practically indestructible. They are tracker and infiltrator machines. Very smart, cunning, and merciless. Very few things can put this machine down for good. Despite the fact that the T-800 becomes progressively more obsolete with every subsequent sequel, he always manages to find a way to come out on top. Robocop is similar in the sense of near indestructibility as well as high intelligence, despite the fact that Robocop is essentially a man inside of a machine, though the argument can certainly be made that he is just as much a machine as the Terminator itself. But this comes in handy when in combat. His accuracy is unmatched. His tracking system gives him the ability of pure precision. Having his gun always at his side in his leg compartment leads to easy access and the ability to conceal it when necessary. And his data stick also has a double function as well. It doubles as a, well, data stick and also a knife. They equal one another in intelligence, durability, and motivation to get the mission done. But where Robocop gets the advantage is his pure precision accuracy as well as his hidden blade. Round 1 is going to go to Robocop. Both of these franchises were born in the 80s and are just as relevant today. So which one has had the bigger impact? Arnold Schwarzenegger's line from the original Terminator that is still said on a daily basis today being, "I'll be back." It's also a memorable moment from the film. So many people know the saying, but they may not even know what it's from. When the Terminator makes his way to the police station where Sarah Connor is located, he attempts to get in peacefully. But when that doesn't work, you get that iconic line,
"I'll be back."
But when he comes back, he's driving a car straight through the front door and then really going guns a-blazing, taking out the entire police department in the process. Next is another iconic line that you will hear just about any given day. When the Terminator and company think they finally won and defeated the T-1000, Arnold lays this iconic line on us.
"Hasta la vista, baby."
Shattering the now frozen T-1000, they think that it's over. But of course, when things heat right back up, the T-1000 is back on the chase. This leads to the rest of the adrenaline-pumping final act. That main line, of course, is the highlight of this scene. You hear it earlier on in the movie, but it doesn't have the same impact. But if this moment doesn't get you hyped when watching this movie and thinking it's finally over, then I don't know what will. And the last one that we're going to discuss for the Terminator is the final moments of the Terminator's life in T2. This moment to me is one of the most impactful in the entire franchise. At times, these movies can definitely lose their way in their bombastic action, but this is the most heartfelt scene out of all 5 movies that we currently have. The Terminator wipes away John Connor's tears when he is begging him not to go, and he realizes now why humans cry. This is the most emotion we get from a Terminator out of any of these films, and it leads into the gut-wrenching descent into lava and that final thumbs up. Switch over to Robocop, and I'm actually going to start off with a scene from the reboot, and that is when Robocop takes on the Ed 209 drones. This scene is so fast-paced, and it shows the real abilities that the Robocop has. That precision accuracy kicking right in as he's destroying multiple of these massive drones that have huge guns. And those first-person moments when you're seeing exactly what he's seeing is like the stuff of dreams. And the scene concludes with some very heartfelt moments that you wouldn't really expect from this movie, when the police officers get in the way of the Ed 209 drones in order to save Robocop's life after he shoots off his own arm to continue the fight. Now one of the iconic lines from the Robocop franchise, and that is probably his most iconic saying,
"Dead or alive, you are coming with me."
This moment isn't just great because of the line, nor is it just great because the entire gas station blows up and Robocop walks out completely untouched like an absolute badass, or the fact that the stunt work is great when Buddy's bike explodes and he goes flying up against a car. What makes it so great is that you start to see Alex Murphy once again and not just Robocop. This adds another level of humanity to the character that we didn't quite have at this point in the movie. And next is another iconic line within an iconic scene, when 2 goons are assaulting a young lady in in an alley, Robocop pulls up and lets them know who's boss. That targeting system that I mentioned earlier comes in handy once again in this 1987 original, when he shoots through the lady's dress and lands a hilarious nut shot on the first goon that's holding the lady hostage. And then the second goon just gives up because he knows he has no chance. Unless you're a die-hard Robocop fan, it's not necessarily easy to remember a whole lot of moments from these movies. The Terminator, however, has countless moments throughout his 5 films, therefore the second round is going to go to The Terminator. Both of these characters are cybernetically improved, but it is clear that one is better than the other when it comes to design. The T-800 is the original design for the titular Terminator, an indestructible robotic endoskeleton with a set of gnarly teeth and those iconic glowing red eyes. And then layer on top of that the flesh and muscle of the Austrian pumping iron star Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. And you have one of the most deadliest machines in sci-fi history. For Robocop, Officer Alex Murphy was turned into the Robocop without his permission. But was it a blessing or a curse? There is almost nothing left of the original Alex Murphy. But being Robocop certainly has its perks. He is now practically indestructible. In the original movies, he is much slower than his human counterparts. But his intelligence and accuracy is leaps and bounds ahead. While both mechanical in nature, they are both designed with different purposes in mind. The Terminator is the ultimate killing machine. Robocop, however, was designed to hold up the law, without the restraints of the human body. But the issue with this is he sticks out like a sore thumb. Whether the Terminator is in the terrifying T-800 mode with those glowing red eyes, or blending in order to catch its prey, its design is far more impeccable. And that's why this round goes to The Terminator. What character isn't complete without an origin story? It's just a matter of which one is more compelling. The original Terminator was sent back through time by Skynet with one goal in mind: kill Sarah Connor before she gives birth to John Connor, who will grow up to be the man who leads the resistance to victory against the machines. While each sequel saw him come back in a protector sort of role that never really changed his origin. As the movies go on though, the people who send him back and exactly why he is sent back varies and gets a bit muddled. But more often than not, it's either Skynet, John Connor himself, or someone else from the resistance. The story of Robocop is much more of a tragedy than anything else. When Officer Alex Murphy is brutally murdered by a gang of thugs, he is for the most part resurrected by the company Omni Computer Products. Now more man than machine, Murphy is shown to the world as Robocop. He is then sent out into the dystopian future Detroit found within the film, to seek out justice and uphold the law, while also trying to find himself inside this machine. When it comes to origins, the Terminator's world might be a bit bigger with a lot more to explore, but for the Terminator as a character, there's really not a whole lot. While Robocop is quite simply a gut-wrenching tragedy. So I'm going to have to give round 4 to Robocop. Now, this is what it all comes down to. Who would win in a fight if these two ever met face to face in the streets? So, we already know that these two are equally matched in strength, intelligence, and durability, which makes this an incredibly close fight. Robocop seems likely to have better accuracy, therefore an advantage at a distance, and also has his data stick, which could possibly even lead to an advantage up close. But where the Terminator seems to thrive is under pressure, facing off against the likes of the T-1000, the TX, and whatever John Connor was in Genesis. He always manages to find a way, even if that means sacrificing himself in the process. The Terminator also has an act for just simply not dying. But I believe that the final nail in the coffin for Robocop, aside from his jaw sticking out as an easy target, is the fact that he has this internal conflict. Officer Alex Murphy is still trapped in there somewhere. This means that Robocop has emotions, he has flaws, while the Terminator is an emotionless killing machine designed with one purpose in mind: to terminate. Therefore, the fifth and final round and the crown is going to go to the Terminator. So that's gonna do it for this week, folks. If you enjoyed this battle and you'd like to see more in the future, be sure to drop a like. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. I'll be back. So hit that subscribe button so you know when I'll be back.